The Mass Effect video game franchise started in November of 2007. It currently consists of 4 video games, an animated movie, several comic books, novels and more. It's highly influential, critically and commercially successful, and it isn't over yet because a 5th mainline video game is currently in development. And as of recording, a remastered collection is on the way very soon. The question is this: why do people like these games? Why is Mass Effect special? To answer that question, you have to look at the separate elements of each of the games, from story to characters to the world to the gameplay to the lore and more. Let's start with the story. The story of Mass Effect, when you simplify it, is a fairly traditional hero's tale. You play the hero, your job is to save the day, stop the bad guys, and bring hope to the galaxy. It's very positive, very comforting. However, there's a twist to this. You don't have to play the hero, at least not in the typical sense. You see, Mass Effect lets you play out the story and develop the character however you want, within reason. If you want Commander Shepard to be a goody two-shoes, by the book soldier, go for it. If you want them to be a ruthless asshole, have at it. The story alters itself around your decisions, your actions and more. That means that while the main plot points might on the surface be the same for every player, the nuances, the smaller moments and, let's say, the flavour are different. In some way, almost everyone who plays this game will get a different experience from the story. Let's not also forget some of the themes and messages of the story. If you want to help an alien race overcome a genetic disease, you can do that. If you want to help another species find a home after years of surviving in the environmental suits, you can do that too. This isn't a game that presents its themes and messages on its sleeve either. Because of its RPG nature, it actually forces you to engage with it. If a topic comes up, you have to pick a side, make your opinion noted, and guess what? That opinion will influence the story and what other characters in the game will think of you. It's a game series that makes you think and question its topics. In the end, you probably walk away smarter, wiser, and hopefully a better person. The games explore ideas surrounding race, religion, ethics, morals, and oh so much more. They're highly layered, highly detailed, and if you want you can dive right into them, getting all of the juicy elements out of each of the small and large scale stories the game has to offer. Or you can skim through them, ignore some of the side missions and still enjoy the main narrative, although doing so will impact the outcome of your story. How many video games can actually say they change and alter to such an extent based on player input and action? Many RPGs say they do this, not all of them do it on the scale of Mass Effect. You might not like the space opera stylings, but there may be smaller, more horror-themed stories within the games that you do like, or perhaps a more comedic one, or why not plan a heist with your friends, or solve a murder, or cure a disease. It's hard to talk about the story without overlooking something. Suffice to say, there's plenty of variety within the games, including explorations of genre, expectations and more. All good stories have to have good characters, or at the very least interesting characters, and that's where Mass Effect really shines. One of the core elements of each of the Mass Effect games is in discovering the characters, talking to them, finding out what they like or dislike, what motivates them, what their backstories are and more. You can befriend a calibration-loving ex-security guard turned sniper. You can talk the meaning of life with an artificial intelligence in a robotic body, debate space racism with a potential love interest, lift weights with a muscle-bound soldier, and honestly, I could be here all day talking about each of the characters. They all feel like real individuals. If you care enough to speak to them, invest time into them, and even assist them on personalized missions, you end up loving them. I hate to say it, but my fictional friends in Mass Effect are better than the ones I have in real life. Although the ones that I have in real life aren't fictional. I want to make that clear. The bottom line is that by making you care about the characters, you end up caring about their fates, and your actions and decisions matter more. So when you go on a suicide mission, you make sure to make the right choices to ensure everyone gets out alive. That leads to another point here. The characters can die at numerous points in the game. Now, if that happens, the game continues just without their presence. Some things will change, some missions will be unavailable, and the experience becomes unique. Because of that, although I have to be honest, I care so much about these characters that I really make sure that each time I play it, they all survive. One argument or fight with a certain character can result in them losing faith and dying because of it. At other times, another character can butt in and blow off one of your friend's head without you having any say in the matter. It's tough getting so many highly detailed, well-developed characters into a team together. They all have differing views and opinions, and some of them take no nonsense. It's kinda like real life. Of course, the story and characters can only be so successful on their own. They also need a cool, interesting, believable world to live in. That's why Mass Effect games give them a galaxy. In these games you can travel to strange exotic locations with purple clouds or snowy mountains, or highly advanced cities with flying cars. Each location is different, each one has a history with background information, laws, standards and more. All of the locations you visit feel real. They feel inhabited. Yes, the first game suffers a little with repetitive structures and facilities, as well as small worlds. Traversing some of the worlds in the Mako can also be a little tedious and annoying, but they do still look good, they do still seem real, and the locations in this galaxy are vast. You can also mine planets, sending out probes to gather resources. It adds an element of believability to the game, and is a cool little feature, but one of the less fun parts of the game, let's be honest. Add on to that the elements of lore and the codex. If speaking to characters or exploring locations isn't your thing, you can also read about them. Each of the Mass Effect games has a highly detailed codex with thousands of words in it. It details characters, biographies, their backstories, religions, information about technology and weapons and gadgets and more. Remember when I said that everything feels well developed? Well, that's because it is, literally. Each of the characters has a detailed biography. Most of their fictional lives have been chronicled and imagined for readers to read up on, if you so choose. Finally, we have to discuss gameplay, because the Mass Effect franchise is primarily a video game one. The first Mass Effect game is an RPG with action elements. You can run around with a small squad, another way of bonding with these characters. You can customize your look, everyone's weapons and powers and abilities, and more. Conversation trees allow you to talk your way out of situations if you have the right skill level. And then there's action. The action isn't great, but it's there if you just want to blast your enemies. You can use biotic force-like powers to wreak havoc, or you can use cover-based shooting like a soldier. Or why not do both at once? The degree of customization allows you to play the game how you want. It's not just the story that alters from how you play it, the gameplay does too. Then in Mass Effect 2, the RPG elements were streamlined and simplified, animations were more advanced and refined, the action was faster, more fluid, and in my opinion, better. It really does a good job of balancing character with story and action. Then, when things really start to get serious in Mass Effect 3, the action is amped up even more, and the RPG elements are toned down even more. Some people prefer that. That's fine, there's a Mass Effect game for everyone. Some people even prefer Mass Effect Andromeda, a spin-off of and an attempt to continue the main series. Andromeda suffers from too familiar story and character elements, and dated RPG and open world mechanics. The core action gameplay though is by far the best, with tons of powers and abilities to choose from, a wide array of weapons and skills and more. Mass Effect isn't perfect, far from it, but the adventures and stories within the franchise are captivating, as are the characters. Let's not talk about the ending of Mass Effect 3 though. That one still hurts. To bring this to an end, Mass Effect is special for several reasons. There is no simple answer. It's one of them if you know kind of things. In brief though, it's to do with the care and attention given to the games. The people making them clearly give a damn about the story and characters, so we, the gamers, do too. The story, which was inspired by a plethora of science fiction properties from Battlestar Galactica to Star Trek, Star Wars and more, resonates because of familiar themes, messages, something at some point in these games will be cool or emotional to everyone that plays them. That in itself is special. The characters are not only relatable, but they're also likable, even the racist ones, although less so for them. They feel real, they feel well acted, they're well realised, and many of them end up being your friends, but not the racist ones. If you want, you can take those friendships further too. You can romance certain characters, cementing your love for them. That's not the best way of wording it, but you get my point. Mass Effect is special because it resonates on so many levels. At its best, it's a powerful emotional story with characters you care about. At its worst, it's a fun action RPG. Everyone can play these games and everyone can find something to like or love about them. even if they don't like the full package. That's what makes them special. With the remastered Legendary Edition coming out soon, Mass Effect fans can experience these games in all their glory once more in the best way possible. Fingers crossed it turns out well. We the fans need it, and quite frankly, I think BioWare needs it too.
Hey, everyone. Come over here for a minute. Let's get a photo to remember this. Arrange yourselves on the sofa.
An excellent suggestion, Shepard.
Great idea. I want a copy.
Make way! Make way!
Thanks for coming, everyone. Here's to us. Ready, Glyph?
Of course. If you could all please direct your attention this way.
Okay. Everyone say Normandy.
Normandy!
I am the very model of a scientist Solarian. I've studied species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert which I know as a tautology. My xenoscience studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Solarian.